how did um how did tapes, like, we talked about how information was a social commodity. Now tell me about the tape part of it, and the tape trading, and maybe getting like a 10th generation tape, and like the hiss is real crazy. I don't know. Just tell me all about that
Well,
stuff.
I think it was just sort of exciting because it was you'd get a chance to maybe hear something you'd never heard, or a band that maybe you maybe never came to your town and you wanted to hear really desperately hear what they sounded like live. You could get to hear that through trading. I traded with people from in Europe, from across the United States, especially if it was bands that did a lot of non-album material. Like I used to collect a lot of Cramps tapes, for example, because they did so many songs live that never were on any of their albums. So it was fun to trade for one of their tapes because I never knew what songs I was going to get. It might be something I'd never heard before. And different demos. People were really into hearing demos. Now it's like, okay, later on they became ubiquitous as B-sides on CD singles, or expanded editions or something. But back in the 80s, if you wanted to hear demos, you had to find someone who had it on tape. They were not something that was just readily available. So if you were really into certain bands and really into music, it was like that was your way to find out more, to add to like what was there. There wasn't like this huge glut of material that you could just access. If you really loved a band and they only had a few records out, what were you going to do? So you'd trade for tapes, or you'd try to get demos.
You mentioned, so the thing about demos, so this is what I noticed, that there's a lot of demos on your channel. Additionally, do you think that it also has to do with the fact, well, I guess this is an extension of taping live songs, in that you're hearing potentially a rough sketch of what eventually will be a different song on the album?
I think that's part of it. I think also part of it is the difference in the machinery of putting out records, the business behind it. Now it's like, okay, so you want to, if I record something with my current band, we just put it out on New Year's Day. We just said, well, let's put it out New Year's Day. Bam, it's out, because digital is instant. All you have to do, as long as you have the artwork ready and it's mixed or whatever, it just goes out instantly. Back in the 80s, I think one of the reasons I have collected so many demos and posted them is because a lot of times bands that you like that you would go see would never get to put out a record, because putting out a record was difficult. They had to get enough money to go into the studio, to get it mixed, to get it mastered, to actually pay for the vinyl to come out, because then at that point there was only vinyl. So a lot of the local New York bands that I was either friends with or would go see a lot never actually put out any vinyl at all, or maybe they put out 1 7-inch or something, but they would have all these other songs that they played live and you'd want to hear them. So demos were important because it added to your collection of the songs.